Welcome to Pull the Pin Ready, a place where average veterans come to share their opinions on the world we live in. We can't guarantee you're going to like our opinions.
But we promise we're going to enjoy giving them to you.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Mike. Let's pull the pin.
All right, Mike, what do we want to discuss today?
Ooh. Wow. Piggy banks.
Piggy banks. Aren't they obsolete?
Yeah, pretty much. No, what I wanted to discuss today was some new charges in the Breanna Taylor case there, Jim.
New or the result of the charges.
The result.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
and the impending riots that we knew were going to happen. Well,
yeah, but I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Not like the Floyd case, no.
Well, yeah, maybe not on the mass scale, but I just think they were waiting for this to happen.
Yeah, probably. We'll see.
I mean, this has been the trend in a lot of these police shootings. And not only, I'm not going to discredit anyone's opinion of what was justified, what was not. But as former law enforcement, we already knew most of these things did not warrant murder charges. So I think that in itself was kind of reckless for anyone to be charging these police officers with murder, because it automatically hyped the crowd to think they were going to get what they wanted when we knew in court it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of things when you talk about murder. It's kind of like they jumped the gun, trying to satisfy the masses, if you will.
Right.
That's the way I look at it sometimes. Sometimes you just need to take, 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever, do a proper investigation, preliminary investigation, and then, you can do the right charges. It's kind of like this Breanna Taylor one.
Yeah, and let's be real. The media likes to sensationalize everything.
Oh, so they built on it.
What was it called? Wanton endangerment. I mean, you can tell us what that definition is, because even in my time, I never used that one. I can
tell you what that is.
Wonton's a soup to me. I don't know what.
Thank you. I was like, man, they charging him with soup. Okay.
Soup endangerment? What is that? Like he dropped the spoon and it was too small of a spoon?
But it's like a reckless endangerment. I mean, and he wasn't even the guy who shot her. They say that this is a guy who shot, and I guess his rounds had passed by her and entered like an apartment next to hers or something like that. Oh. So the reckless endangerment was to the people next door behind her or whatever.
I had the suspicion, in all transparency, I didn't read all the details of that or see it, but anytime you're getting a reckless endangerment, it's usually not related to the people in front of you.
Yeah. Hey, we were trained, man. You have to aim, center mass.
Right, and be aware of your backdrop.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things too, like, I don't want to get off beat here, but some of the people that they question the, what was his name? The guy with the woman that sexually assaulted his girlfriend, stole the keys. They wrestled him, tased him, went around the car. Anyways,
I guess 7 times in the back.
It was in the back as he was getting in the car to reach for what allegedly was a knife in there. Well, I think some people don't realize is the 7 shots, and people always like, well, 7 shots, that's too many. And I think a lot of people get that from the movies, like 1 shot, 1 kill. But I think they don't realize that the heat of the moment, that close proximity, that knife, even if I shot him 3 or 4 times, he can still turn with that knife and stab me. Like, so the 7 shots doesn't surprise me. In a situation like Breanna Taylor, when you're moving in, you got so many moving targets and you're not right up on somebody, those shots need to be calculated. Those shots need to be controlled.
Yeah, but we can talk about that other case another day, because I have my own issues with that. But Breanna Taylor, it's like I was reading mixed reports. 1 minute she's in somewhat of a hallway. Next minute she's sitting on a sofa, damn near asleep. So it goes. The reason why I think it's reckless, and this is just based off of what I read, is that she was sitting on the sofa. Like if she was like what you're talking about, a moving target, for lack of a better term, then you can kind of justify she was moving. That's why it went past her and it didn't strike her. But if she's sitting on a sofa, and you got to think they coming in, and then she's sitting on a sofa, how'd the round go through the wall, endangering a neighbor or something like that? Maybe that's where that came from.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, even at the end of the day, I hate the end of the day. even with that taken, you're talking about professionals going in on something they should have already been familiar with, the type of environment.
Hmm.
These reckless shots, that you can't have that. I don't care who
Right.
you are. You know,
Yeah,
you
because
can't
then
have that.
you don't seem like that trained professional. Then you know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't seem that you. It kind of sounds like you're a rookie.
Right. And
You
this
know?
and
Yeah.
this goes back to maybe to another issue, training issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or maybe you got the wrong people on that kind of entry team or something like
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Or maybe just the team itself wasn't training together.
Right.
You know,
Right.
right flank, left flank, and so you know where your battle is. So
Sure.
it's a lot of what ifs here, but I believe that if she was a stationary target and it went through some of his rounds, or all of his rounds, he fired I think it was about 10 shots, and all of them missed. Training for one. Um, and we're talking about if everything was justified. Okay, I'm not getting into the well, they shouldn't have been there in the first. I'm not getting into that,
Right.
right? But what I'm talking about is after the fact. Even if she was 100% guilty, whatever, he missed the target 10 times, and that says a lot to me. And I
Right.
think
So,
he was a detective too. I'm not sure, but I think he was a detective.
which means he probably had a heavy workload and no time for training.
Yeah, pencil whip.
Right. Right. Well,
Yeah,
that's true too. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I mean, we can't just assume that, but it is a possibility, right?
right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's why I love that extra or more intensive training where you're just not shooting at like a green and white, red and white, black and white target.
Oh yeah.
You know,
No.
for 15 seconds, okay, stop, reload. Nah, you need to get that heart racing and make it more intense.
And some of that training is it could be rather expensive.
Yeah.
So you've got to be privileged on departments or places where you can actually get some good training.
Yes, but once again, we don't know. We both
Hmm.
admit that the circumstances. But if it was a team, if you have like a SWAT, whatever type team that you want to call it, if you have that type team, so you should invest in the money to get
Sure.
them this type of training, so you don't have to worry about these type of events. It will
Right.
cost you in the long run.
And since they were serving a warrant, we already know this isn't like a school shooting scenario where the first four officers have to form a team and may never have even worked
Right.
together.
Yeah.
This is something that's planned and rehearsed
Yep.
and should have been executed to perfection.
Yeah.
And I don't even mean perfection. I guess that's a high standard, but 10 rounds, that sounds way absurd to me.
Yeah.
So the guy probably deserves the wonton soup charge.
Yeah.
He probably deserves that. But so then this isn't the end of this then.
No, I don't think it is.
So
I
then
really don't.
why is this one so hyped? They were expecting a murder charge for this guy?
No, I don't. Not for him. I think he wasn't even in the picture in the beginning. Is the one who actually shot her.
So is the media just hyping this like to get an extra riot out of this or what?
I don't know if they're hyping it for that reason, Jim. But are they hyping it?
Come
That's what they
on.
do. That's what they do. But I'm not gonna say that's why they hype it. They hype it for ratings. They hype it for the clicks. They hype it for the likes, the subscribes, the what else? What else we have? You know what I mean? But do I believe that they want the riots? I would say I believe they're not upset about them because once again, that gives them more likes, clicks,
Right.
things of that nature. You know?
Yeah, even when they attacked the CNN building, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. CNN is all over that one.
Well, they had the best footage. Firsthand. They don't need anonymous sources.
That's right.
First time in history, CNN can do a report without anonymous sources.
Yeah, we're at ground zero right now. Yeah.
I don't know these guys up here. They don't work for us, though.
Yeah. You have different CNN reporters in there telling different stories, probably. Okay, I know that was bad, but it's true. I've seen it where you'll have, they're not from the same organization, but you'll have CNN in one spot, another local news over here. I'm like, they're right next to each other. How did they get the information different?
Well, let's talk about. We can dive into that because in law enforcement, that's a huge thing, and that's I don't know the name of the phenomena. Somebody out there could probably correct me, but we've seen that. We've seen that where we showed up to a scene, and multiple witnesses tell different stories from their perspective.
Yeah.
And sometimes they could be extremely different.
Yeah.
So it's not unlikely. I mean, people might be confused and think, well, there was an eyewitness, so this is, that's the truth. That's not always true though.
Yeah.
And the human brain, the psychology of it sometimes fills in those blanks when they're not there, and we fill them in with our experience and our own prejudices. So
yeah, I've had a case, this one in particular, that just proved it to me wholeheartedly. Driving home, just got off, and we had take-home vehicles. I'm driving home.
What a luxury!
So what?
What a luxury!
Hawaii.
That was the Army, bud.
Yeah.
That was the Army. There were no take-home Army vehicles.
Yeah, I know. You didn't want to take those home, right? But no, you had I'm driving home and I see an officer struggling with two individuals. So I was like, man, do I stop? Do I keep going? And I was a rookie at the time.
What? Wait a minute. Did you just sit there and decide whether you're going to stop and help an officer?
Dude, I was a rookie. I'll admit it. I don't give a damn who's listening. I was scared. And that 15 seconds seemed like about 15 minutes. It was about 15 seconds. No, you know what? I didn't even have a vehicle at the time. I was in my POV.
So is this a real story or what?
Yes,
you're
it
changing
is.
Too many. See, you're not even a witness.
I changed one thing, man. See, I changed one thing. That was it.
You were in the story and you can't even remember all the
I know,
details.
right? That's bad. And I'm criticizing the news outlets.
Perfect example. This is a perfect example. You couldn't have said it better. Go on.
I was in my POV and I was like, man, do I pull over? And I pulled over and I jogged back. It was probably about 20 feet or whatever. And I got up behind him and I said, hey, my name, I identified myself and I was in uniform, but his back was to me. And he just asked me for some handcuffs. And the mother of these two guys, she was irate. I mean, she was going off. And I looked at the guy, her husband, and I was like, dude, you're not going to, everything's under control right now. You don't have anything to worry about. You're not going to calm her down. And he was just sitting there like, I mean, she was going off. And turns out they were drug dealers, blah, 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 whatever, right?
No,
2
they
days
were good
later,
citizens just in the wrong place.
No, they were drug dealers.
Oh.
But anyway, they 2 days later, I see her on the news. Oh, man, hair done, had the makeup on. She was so eloquent in her speech, and the news reporter couldn't understand what was going on, why these gentlemen were treated that way. I was like, mother. And I wrote a long statement. I had to write a long statement on the assistance I provided. Not one person came to talk to me.
Wow. Not
one. And I saw this guy, I'm not going to say his name, but I saw this officer like 6 months later. And like I was in one city, he's in the city right next to me. And we finally saw each other again. And he was like, hey, man, I appreciate that. I said, don't worry about it. It was the truth. You know what I mean?
You didn't tell him you were scared as hell?
No.
Good move.
I was about to tell him about the 15 minutes it took me to, decide to go and provide assistance, but nah. He appreciated the assistance. That's all he needed to know.
Right.
Yeah. But the point is how they, like you said, they sensationalize everything, and they try to make the guilty look so innocent sometimes. Right. And it's just frustrating.
Well, especially I think it's more frustrating. And I saw a video, I might actually do a breakdown of this one because I was so moved to write some comments on it when I was watching it, but especially when it's a parent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think there's this inability for parents to see their kids for who they are. You know what I mean? It's like, my Johnny can't do no wrong. My Johnny can't do no wrong, even though Johnny's been selling drugs for 13 years. He still can't do no wrong.
Right.
And it's sad, but this is what we have to deal with. And unfortunately, I think the general public will take the side of mom because mom would know best, right? The police officer wouldn't know any better. So it's just unfortunate. And I think that leads into a lot of stuff I think we really need to go back into the police thing and just beat the culture down in the police culture and the surrounding of it. But because I know we did an episode on some police, but I think we need to go back to that because there's still a whole lot I think we can add.
Oh yeah.
So you think there's going to be another riot coming then? There's another verdict coming and another. Well, you don't even think there's going to be a riot from this. There's definitely going to be a problem.
Well, when you compare it to some of the other riots, because of some of the decisions that were made, I don't think this is going to be as big.
Oh, this is going to be a peaceful protest. Right. I got it.
I never liked it. A protest is supposed to be peaceful, so I don't know why people put the two together.
Just to make sure you don't
what else
confuse
is,
it with violence and riots.
oh,
Yeah.
a riot, there is violence. A protest should be peaceful.
So if
Or else
anybody,
it's a
so if
a
anyone
riot.
in that protest becomes a rioter, that changes the protest to a riot, or
Well, it depends. Depends on, like, if I'm in the front, right, and locked arm in arm with some people saying, "Hey, peaceful protest," right, as we call
right.
it these days. I never understood that. But with protests and hey, we shall overcome. Hey, Second Amendment rights. Woo, woo, woo.
I wonder if that's copyrighted. Can you say that?
Second Amendment rights.
No, the "we shall overcome" part.
We
No,
shall
you could do
overcome.
that again.
Oh, we shall overcome. Woo, woo, woo.
There you
No,
go.
there you go. But no, if you have some people 50, 100 feet back that decide to get stupid, and they start busting windows with bricks, now this protest has become a riot.
Right, but is the people peacefully protesting now fall under the blanket of accountability because the actions of some others?
Yes.
I would assume that I agree with you, and I did see a video one
No,
time.
no. I will. No, this is me. I don't agree with that. Painting all the protesters with that rioters broad brush because of the actions of a few. But today's society, that's what we do.
Well, I will agree with you, but I'm going to branch off in a second because I've seen this happen, and I think this is the point. If you show up and you want to protest something, you organize a protest. Well, anybody who shows up with bricks and starts problems is now counterproductive to your protest.
Exactly.
And I think that there should be some onus, some responsibility for the people protesting to out those other people, not just assume that just because they're doing different action, they're not associated with us. And I've seen this.
No, I agree. I've seen videos of that happening, that very thing happening. They're like, hey, no, you're not gonna be spray painting and busting windows around here. That's not what we're about.
Yes.
And that's recent.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like
yeah.
if you don't do that as a protest, then you are accepting the behavior of the riot, and therefore you should be labeled as a riot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna be labeled anyway, so.
Well, right. I mean, but you can still do something to prove that they're not part of your group.
Right.
And then that will be easier to say, hey, well, these guys were protesting. It'd be easier to stand behind.
Yeah, because I like it when the cameras are turned on those people as well, that are busting the windows and breaking car windows, doors, whatever.
Right.
And then they're like, hey, we're not about that, record him so they can catch him later.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure. And as long as that's, made or some way identified, then you won't be mislabeled. Well, you will, obviously.
Well, like the lady who did the was it Wendy's in Atlanta? The one that they burned down the Wendy's. Yeah, right. I was happy. Hey, get her. Get her. That's not what it's about.
Right. Yeah. And that's what it's good. I think one of the things that trips me up is I know there's some news agencies, I don't want to mention their names because it just burns my tongue when I say it, but they say mostly peaceful. What does that mean?
We want to label the mugs, those mofos rioters. That's what we want.
But it'll look bad.
Yeah, it'll look bad. That's what they want to do.
I mean, I heard a guy telling me, he said it in comparison. He's like, if I only abuse my wife on Fridays, am I mostly peaceful? Or, I don't get it. Like, I don't know what that means. Or am I still a spouse abuser? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just kind of dumb.
Yeah, I mean, to me, on all sides, they're wrong when you look at these news organizations because they don't show everything. I think we touched on this.
We're touching on a lot of things we already talked about. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at the Breanna Taylor, some news organizations, they're not even talking about it anymore, even with this recent decision. Right.
Well, even the updated information that came out. Yeah.
They don't talk about it.
Apparently she wasn't even working as a paramedic this time.
Right.
but no, everybody painted her as this, American patriot that was a paramedic and helped it. And then when the new information came out, it wasn't even on the news.
Right. It's like they had their little what do they call that? Oh man, they punched their ticket, so to speak, and got the ratings, got the clicks, and all right, next story.
That's what it is. And I think we talked about that in the media too, where they'll even put a title or something that a heading in an article and disprove it right in the article, and people never read the article.
Right. Yep.
I mean, I've literally had to come to the defense of loved ones on Facebook. I hate Facebook, so I shouldn't even say their nasty name, but I've had to come to rescue of people that are still like talking about things that they can literally go and find right on the internet that prove them wrong. I mean, move on to the next thing.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be the same as taking a little clip of what someone said?
What do you mean?
Like, I hate all people. That's a clip. Somebody can take that and say, well, he can't be president. Look, he said he hates all people. But if you listen to the entire statement or speech.
But that's what I'm saying. What I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about people who do that. They say, oh, this person hates all people.
Right.
And then you're sitting there like, well, did you even read the rest of the statement? It's out there on the internet. It's free. It's public.
Yeah, but what's worse than that is it's not only out there on the internet, it's in the same article that you're referencing from that. You know what I
mean? Right, with 3 dots in between or something.
Yeah, it's like, come on now.
Yeah,
but that's the world we live in.
And we talked about this too. I don't want to just beat up on the media still. We've already had a whole segment on that. But it's funny how people are still falling for this little trick where one guy writes a lie and then he reports it to his friend, who then writes another lie in another newspaper. And then the third person picks it up and says, oh, it must be true because these 2 news stations are reporting it. And then all of a sudden this whole lie goes around the block and everybody's validating with sources that all picked up on the same lie.
Yeah.
It's insane. And people are falling for this.
It's like, no, that's the extent of the research that's being done today. Hey, Jim, did you hear about this? Yeah, it's true. Okay.
Yeah.
On with it.
Right.
I mean,
today, in today's news, Mike was not there.
We heard from a high-ranking source.
Right, an anonymous high-ranking source.
Yeah, anonymous high-ranking. Oh, man, they killed me.
Yeah.
Hey, let's bring it back, though. So you agree with the, I can't believe you got me getting ready to say wonton soup charge.
Well, once I know what it is, I can honestly. Yeah, like I said, I didn't know who this gentleman was because, like I said, I hadn't read it yet. But based on what you're telling me, I mean, I would give this guy reckless. I mean, you don't just walk in, especially you're a trained professional. 10 shots, none of them hit. No, I don't buy that. Especially if you got a couch game at, or even if you're aiming at a guy shooting at you, that's kind of an easy target, Yeah. So
if they're in the hallway, it's like, if they're in the hallway in an apartment is not that wide. So no matter what the scenario, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, that's what I say. I don't care where they were. I mean, I've been in enough training that, we have military training. That's, clearly, on target and you're not even all the fundamentals of marksmanship. I don't know what you'd be firing at if you didn't have someone in your target. Like, unless the guy is this the guy that got shot, maybe fell down and fired 10 shots accidentally?
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start. Yeah, I heard that in the news today. You should report it too.
Okay, I'm going out there.
There we got 2 sources. Everybody's going to report it.
Yeah. I'm going to put it out there on Facebook. That's it. It's done.
All right. Do we have any more on Breanna Taylor you want to share with?
Nah. I'm in the mood for soup though. That's bad.
Some wonton soup. I do get the wonton egg drop soup, the combination. Even though the egg drop part tastes like snot.
I can't believe we're doing this. But
I've
never had snot.
It isn't snot, and I don't even know it tastes like snot. It's got the consistency because maybe I have.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, this is getting way out of hand. So one of the things, real quick, before we did the whole thing, we're joking about the wonton, but that is actually just terminology in different states. And like me and you both discussed
Yeah,
previously, I've never heard that. I mean, I've
yeah.
heard the term, but I don't think where I work they ever use that. But I kind of knew what they were talking
You
about
heard that?
once.
I have never heard that term wonton's endangerment.
I've
Yeah.
heard it before, but maybe in passing or in something, never
Oh,
in
okay.
use, in practical use. But every state is different. Every laws are different, as we're all finding out
Yeah.
too. That even to riot over, like, somebody living in Georgia has no business getting mad at this charge if they don't even know the state laws.
Right.
Like, there's some of these cases where these officers can't even be charged with a certain charge that people want because the law doesn't require it, but they're just ignorant of the
Yeah.
law.
Yeah. But that doesn't say that we shouldn't get upset about certain things. It's like I think what you're referencing once again in another show that we did. We have these laws. If you want to change the law, hey, go out there and vote.
Sure, right.
Go
But
out there and vote to change the law.
I'm in reference, like, murder, like, in some states murder is defined differently,
Oh yeah, yeah.
than in other states. So people are like, "Oh, why aren't they being charged with murder?" And you have no clue what the law in that state is.
Well, a lot of people don't even know the elements of the crime.
Yeah, most
You
don't.
know what I mean? Yeah, what warrants a charge of murder? So
Right.
it's just, I think it's, I'm not, I'm just gonna say it. The average citizen, when it comes to this, they going off of what they may have heard once,
Right.
once or twice, or what they seen on TV, some TV show,
Sure. Right.
yeah, or movie.
Yeah. That's
You
most
know what
of
I
it.
mean?
We all love our entertainment, politics free, but we end up living our entertainment because we consume that more than anything. So,
Yeah.
and that's where most people are getting their
It
information.
began, yeah, it start like the average movie slash TV show or whatever is almost like that's reality TV now.
Yes.
Yeah, because we've consumed so much, it has to be true.
All right.
Where'd they get this story from? They
Yeah.
can't just make it up. You know,
Right.
it might be a little truth to it, but they have that Hollywood spin on it. So, but a lot of people don't see that.
So are we now considered entertainment? So we can tell them anything we
Yeah,
want?
we
All right.
entertain
Awesome.
about 2-3 people every show. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can name those, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, I don't have enough money out there yet, man, to
You
be
know
paying
who you
people to
are.
watch. Yeah, and we thank you.
Yes, we do appreciate both of you.
Yeah.
And all of our other supporters. Just kidding.
Yeah.
So let's pull the pin on that thing, and let's
Okay.
move into our segment, our favorite segment, which I know Mike is excited to share with me. Pull the pin already. Our namesake. It's just something that irritates us, or something that we just want to get off our chest. And we will start with you, Mike. Go.
I don't have anything, Jim.
Did I put you on the spot? Come on, you got something.
Okay, I have something.
All right.
Have you ever taken a photo?
Maybe once.
Yeah, maybe once, maybe twice, right? And I mean, the last photo, let's say the last 10 photos you've taken, probably with cell phone, right?
There's a good chance. I do have a camera too, so.
Do you blow the dust off of that there, Jim?
Off the camera or the cell phone?
The camera.
Well, normally I'm out in public, and now I'm wearing a mask. I can't even blow anything.
Okay, but put all of that aside, Jim.
Okay.
When we talk about cameras, that's something near and dear to my heart, right? And I used to love just going out taking photos. A friend of mine, I remember I was in Kuwait. I thought I knew a lot about taking photos, and he came out. He was like a damn near professional photographer, right? His name is Brian, real nice guy, and he showed me a lot when it came to photography, and he showed me how much I didn't know. But now I think cell phones have taken over. Very seldom do you see people with cameras like what you said you have, right? I have one myself, and that's why I made the reference about blowing the dust off of it. Because we moved in the last 4-5 years, we moved 3 times, and it's in the same case every time we move. And every time I take it out, man, I miss this camera, and then I put it right back in the case and put it back up on the shelf.
Well, they do have their place still, but I hear you.
Yeah, yeah, and I hate that because I've fallen for it. You know, now I just get the cell phone out, take a picture, and it's right there. I think it's because of the convenience of it all.
Yeah. Well, and how do you compete? Like a $1,500 camera versus a $1,000 cell phone that does
Yeah,
more. And I mean, you've seen the new
right.
Samsung; it's got 3 cameras on it.
Yes, and iPhones also.
Oh
You
well,
know,
whatever. I'm not.
I'm a Samsung guy, but
Yeah, I'm
everyone
not
in
an
my
Apple
house has a
guy. I know how to use
yeah,
computers.
yeah. You know, but everyone in my house has one of them I things. Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So, but
I
I think
trash.
I'm ready to pull the pin, Jim. And I know it's going to be hard, but I'm starting here. I'm ready to pull the pin on cell phone cameras. We have to get back to basics. You know, we have to get back to the basics because I have one. I'll be right there.
Yeah,
What do
you're
you
just
say,
trying to
Jim?
raise the value of your old camera. I get it.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
cool.
much.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I got it. All right. I'm gonna go. Uh, I'm gonna go to a place that's gonna be a little confused. This might confuse you just right off the bat because you're gonna probably judge me really too quickly on this.
Okay.
I have a problem with soap. Not using it. That's not my problem. My problem is with who designed soap bars.
Mm.
You cannot tell me that you couldn't come up with a better idea than to have all the soap dwindle down to these little pieces you can do absolutely nothing with. Like you literally can't even use it anymore. You're trying to rub it, but it just falls. It's just these little pieces. And what do? You throw them in a corner and hope they stack up and then mush them all together to a new soap bar? Like, what do you do with it? I mean, I think soap
That's what I do.
bars should be like fortune cookies. You know, have an outer layer, and then when all the outer layer is gone and the inside, you get this treat like, hey, you washed yourself 30 days. Great job. Like, I really think that should happen. I mean, I don't know what to do with this soap when it gets too small. It's useless. And I'm losing money because I paid for the whole soap bar.
What's the treat there, Jim?
I don't know. I don't know. What would be your treat, Mike, in the middle of a nice warm shower? What would you call a treat from your soap?
Hey, we have 2 viewers, so I'm not even going to give them the ammunition to come back at me.
Awesome. Well, that's what I want to pull the pin on. The soap creator who can't design a soap that has some sort of use up all the soap. I don't know. Body
That's
wash,
why
I
they
guess
have.
we could do now. Body
There
wash,
you go.
right?
That's why they came out with that.
So
Someone
there you
beat
go.
to
We're
it.
doing away with soap bars, moving to body wash.
Exactly. Liquid
Awesome.
soap.
I'm glad you like soap too, Mike. All right. That is all the time we have for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed what we had to share today, and we hope to see you next time here on Pull the Pin Already. And until then, Godspeed.
Pull the pin.
Thanks for joining us here at Pull the Pin Already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. Hope to see you here next time on Pull the Pin Already.